Lake Como gets all the attention, the celebrities, the influencers, the travel magazines, and for good reason. But there's another lake in northern Italy that's bigger, older, and way more interesting if you know where to look. Roman ruins, medieval castles, mountain roads so dramatic they ended up in a James Bond film in wine regions most tourists have never heard of. We're spending 2 days on Lake Garda's southern and western shores, and we're going to show you why people have been coming here for over 2,000 years. Let's get tipsy, y'all.
Sirmione sits on a narrow peninsula that juts out about 4 kilometers into the southern end of Lake Garda. By the 1st century BC, it had become a fashionable retreat for wealthy Roman families from the Verona area. The poet Catullus, one of the most celebrated lyric poets of ancient Rome, wrote about having a home here, and one of his poems is essentially a love letter to this place. That has lasted for over 2,000 years, which tells you something about what this little peninsula does to people.
Just parked the car, and now we're going to go head out to the peninsula here. The drive up from Bologna wasn't bad. We left pretty early this morning like we normally do, and I am so excited. This castle has been on my bucket list for so long. So the shuttle is super easy. You can park on the peninsula, but we had read that especially during high season, the traffic's insane. It's hard to find a spot, and it is almost twice the price as parking not on the peninsula. So we decided to take the bus. It is €2 to do that. The shuttle's super easy. You tap in with your card, you tap out when you leave, and then it drops you right at the end where the castle is.
The one thing you cannot miss in Sirmione is the Castello Scaligero. Literally, you cannot miss it as it sits right at the entrance to the peninsula and greets you the moment you walk across the bridge into the old town. To add some dramatic flair, the castle is surrounded by a moat that's accessible only by drawbridge. Construction started in the 13th century by the Della Scala family of Verona, and what most people don't know is that the fortified docks are inside the castle walls and are the only surviving example of a 14th century fortified harbor anywhere in the world.
Now, when I say castle, this is what I mean. This is so cool. It just is like, when I think of a castle, this is kind of like what I think about in my brain. And even though I'm climbing up lots of stairs, I am very happy to be here.
In the early 1400s, the castle passed to the Republic of Venice, which held it for nearly 400 years until Napoleon arrived. After Italian unification, it became the local government office, and after World War I, it was restored and opened as a museum. It still pulls nearly 250,000 visitors a year and consistently ranks in Italy's top 30 most visited sites. And because of that, we'd highly recommend that you get here as close to opening as you can.
So it is definitely overcast this morning, but it does not take away from how beautiful this place is. I could not imagine what it would look like on a clear day. The mountains at the far side of the lake are amazing.
Not as bad as San Marino's, but does give a little bit of flashback to that. No joke. It's crazy. Didn't even have to sign a waiver. That one went straight up.
I love castles. That's all I'm gonna say. I really want a castle. And if you're new to this channel, this will be one of many things you're gonna hear from me on this trip is I love castles. This is awesome.
Very castle vibey. Like all the battlements, like we're walking up here on the, what do you call these?
Epic medieval walkways.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Now to get to the end of the peninsula, it is a 20-minute walk, but it's a beautiful morning and it's not super hot yet, so we're gonna go ahead and walk it. This peninsula is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, every time we turn around, it just gets prettier and prettier. The town was so charming. I can't wait to see from the end of the peninsula what it all looks like. The ruins on the peninsula, Grotte di Catullo, are named after Catullus, but this almost certainly is not his villa. The structure you're looking at was built after his death at the beginning of the 1st century AD. The name came from the 15th century scholars who were rediscovering his poetry, made the connection to Sirmione, and it just kind of stuck, and nobody has changed it since. This is one of the largest and best preserved Roman private villas in all of northern Italy. So when we were above, I thought it was impressive, and now that we're down low and in it, it's even more impressive. To put it in perspective, this complex is roughly the size of the US Capitol building, but it was built as a private vacation home in the 1st century AD. We're talking long covered porches, held up by columns, terraced gardens, and a full spa. It was abandoned in the 3rd century and stripped for building materials for hundreds of years after that, which is why it looks the way it does today. If you want to visit the ruins, it's 10 euros per person, and this is massive, so make sure that you're wearing some sort of tennis shoe. I've told Chris that in our next life, we will have a private villa on a peninsula like this. Wait, you don't want one?
I would love to have one.
We've been through some crazy ruins before, and this one's impressive.
Yeah, coming into this, I was thinking oh, it's just going to be another set of Roman ruins. But this one is really, really impressive and really neat. I didn't think we would spend that long here, but you can keep going in here for probably a good hour. You can just walk around.
Yeah, I'm with him. This is amazing. All right, we're gonna do the walk back into town, and then we're gonna grab a quick bite to eat and maybe a drink. Sirmione sits right in the heart of Lugana DOC territory, one of the most interesting and genuinely underappreciated white wine zones in all of Italy. The wine is made from a single grape, the Trebbiano, with real aging potential. So if you're trying Lugana for the first time, try to look for something with a few years on it.
First sip, that's really, really good. I had no idea what to expect of this region's wine, but really, really good. Very crisp, light. Oh, this is a nice, bright white wine to start the morning.
Wow. Okay. Lovely breakfast wine. Just kidding. It's actually after 11, so we're in the clear. Not that we ever cared. This is our first time having this wine. I think Chris nailed it. It is a little citrusy. It's just absolutely delicious. It's really, really good. I'm really glad we got to try it. This place is so sweet. We've just wrapped up and I've ordered a gatte, which is an espresso that comes with this little, I'm assuming it's chocolate. And he brought Chris one too. That was so sweet. Chris isn't the biggest coffee drinker. I am. And I've also learned that most Italians microdose coffee throughout the day, according to Google. So take it with a grain of salt. Most Italians have 3 espressos a day. I love it. One of my favorite things about living here is the coffee that you just get to have all day. I've bought into it. I think it's the greatest thing ever.
I've already eaten mine. It's fantastic. It's kind of like a Whopper. Good end of the meal.
That was fantastic. We knew nothing about that place going in. We kind of did some research on the fly because we were hungry earlier than normal because of the early morning, but glad with our choice. Yeah.
I had a toasty, but it was just toast and it was honestly just delightful. So the difference between toast and a panino is like the hard crust sandwich that Chris got, where I got a toasty, which is more like the traditional sandwich bread that Americans are used to.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to walk around here. We are actually going to be leaving this area to head to a different spot this afternoon, but we got about an hour. Let's go stroll around this town and then we're going to pop back in the car. This place is amazing. I get the hype.
Like all the things we read said it's very, very touristy, which it is. Pro tip, come early in the morning and this place is very charming.
It's relatively easy to get to. Now we've rented a car and we drove up from Bologna. So we're gonna do the whole lake, which is gonna be a series of videos. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss the future ones. And there's lots to do. I mean, a lot of people are getting out in the lake. There's also tons of tours and there's ferry boats. So if you can get here, you can ferry to different places on the lake. So even if you don't feel comfortable renting a car or you don't want the hassle of renting a car, you can ferry to multiple places. So pack light, wear tennis shoes.
But from here we have about
You're also British now.
But from here we have about a 30-minute drive just to the western side of the lake, and we are going to visit a winery.
Let's get to it. Well, I was gonna say you can see it, which we can. We can see it from here. Well, see you there.
From Sirmione, we head north along the western shore toward Moniga del Garda. and the western shore is much different from the south, with fewer resorts and much smaller towns and far fewer people. Moniga del Garda is a village of only about 2,500 people. It has a small medieval castle of its own, which sits above the town and dates back to the 10th century. Now, most travel content that you see about Lake Garda doesn't mention this town at all, which is one of the reasons why we chose it as our base for the night. That, and because we wanted something a bit off the beaten path, and of course, close to some wineries.
We made a quick pit stop at the Castle of Moniga, which sits on the hilltop on the western side of town. It's a fully functional little community inside the walls with local residents actually owning the houses while the town holds onto the walls and the towers themselves. The castle is obviously free to enter as it is a neighborhood, but I think one of the best little unexpected treats is that right outside the castle, you can see where we just were on the peninsula, and you can actually see the towers of the other castle. It is just absolutely beautiful here. I am slightly obsessed with this place. So also at the base of the castle is this gravel road, and we just saw a sign back here that said bar open this way. So we're gonna either go to coffee or something in between now and our wine tasting. This is an alcoholic. This is just an iced coffee in the most beautiful presentation possible. Not mad about it. We had no idea that little cafe was there. It's at the base of the castle. Oh my God, it was adorable. I didn't need another coffee, but like I totally needed another coffee.
Microdose.
The microdosing of caffeine. Let's go to the winery now.
Podere de Folli has been making wine here for 4 generations. The family has been farming this land since the early 1900s, and they were among the first producers in the zone to convert to organic farming in 2002.
So this is a new one. We are following the sommelier to the vineyard in our car. We've done a lot of wine tours, and we've not done this yet.
They are located in the Valtenesi wine region, which is the wine zone on the southwestern shore of Lake Garda, and the climate here is technically Mediterranean. In fact, it's the northernmost area in Europe with a true Mediterranean microclimate because the lake acts as a giant heat buffer, which means you can grow grapes here that have zero business being this far north.
All right, we are back in the car. We had a nice little walk around the vineyards and also olive trees, which was nice. Now we're going to the production facility. So we still have one more stop before we finally get to taste the wine.
Yeah, this is a fairly long tour. It's like a 2.5 hour experience. Kind of crazy.
So stop number 2 was the production site. So we got to go see the cellar. And then they showed us one of the older rooms where they used to do a lot of the wine tastings 50 and 60 years ago.
The primary grape in their wines is the Groppello grape, an indigenous variety that exists almost nowhere else in the world. There are fewer than 400 hectares cultivated globally, and the vast majority of that is right here in Valtesine.
This tasting, we have 3 rosés. The first one was a sparkling, so that's called a spumante here. The second one is very young. They just released it a few months ago. It is very light, delicious, and airy. And the third one we're tasting is Dama. This one is very unique and different. It kind of smells like a dried fruit of sorts. Then when you taste it, Chris even said this, he's like, it kind of drinks like a red. It's really complex and delightful, and we absolutely love it. We are almost done with our cheeses, which were great, and we are also working through our meat board. This has been so great so far.
They also make a red wine with 100% Groppello grapes called the Vegna. So if you get the chance, make sure you try it. So this wine, 100% the Groppello grape, which is used to make all of the wine here, but it's aged completely in steel tanks, so not in any barrels of any sort. So it has a very different profile. I don't know, it's still tannic, very interesting color. It's kind of like light ruby, copper-ish. I don't know, I'm a fan. Nice light red.
Just finished the tasting. Chris took 2 grappas because I'm driving.
I'll put some hair on your chest, yeah.
Overall, it was really great. We enjoyed it. This place is adorable. The rosés were so drastically different.
It was 3 different rosés that were all made, again, from the same grape base. All very, very good.
So from here, we're going to go get checked into our hotel for the night. This is the view from our hotel. We're only going to be here one night, but it's beautiful. We decided to just check out the downtown area of this little town, and just walking from our hotel out here, it is so charming. The streets are colorful and the people are out and about. Dinner is about 10 minutes away from here, so this place is so charming. I'm already so in love with it. just got back from dinner. That place was amazing.
It was, yeah. I had some pasta. It was like, on the menu, it was like burnt pasta, but it was not burnt. It was in a good way burnt. Very unique, very, very good.
I had a bite of his pasta. I really wanted to get like a whole other thing of that because there was smoked goat cheese and
That's what it was, yeah.
it pancetta?
Yeah, it was pancetta, yeah. It was very good.
Yeah, I ended up going, I was joking with Chris, it was very a southern meal from the United States South, not Italy South, which was pork ribs and mashed potatoes.
Smell it? It smells like home.
So good. The pork came right off the bone. It was absolutely phenomenal. And we started with that eggplant. I don't even know how they made the eggplant, but I need to learn how to make that.
And kind of 3 different sauces on top. So it had pesto, Parmesan cream, and a tomato paste or cream.
So good.
Beautifully prepared, beautifully presented, and delicious.
It was great. Honestly, very, very good. Highly recommend if you're staying in that area because that meal was great. So for tomorrow, we're actually going to get up kind of early to go check out, I know, a small, I would say, was it small hike maybe?
Yeah.
Small-ish hike. And then we're going to continue to head north and go see one of the most epic drives in the area. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. We could find next to no information on this. And this is a pretty steep hill. So if you're coming, you need tennis shoes, and it's nice because it's paved, but it's pretty steep.
The Rocca di Manerba is a medieval fortress sitting on a rocky cliff above the lake. This sounds crazy to say. The views are almost beside the point here because this place has been continuously occupied for roughly 8,000 years. The medieval fortress became one of the most strategically important points on the entire western shore, passing through some of the biggest names in northern Italian history, but ultimately ending with the Republic of Venice. But its most dramatic moment in history came in 776 AD when it was the last place the Lombards made their stand against Charlemagne. Spoiler alert, they lost. But the real ending to this fortress is not at all what we expected. After centuries of military importance, Venice demolished the fortress during the 1570s, not because of war, but because it had become a bandit hideout and they were done dealing with it. What's left today is ruins and one of the best views on the entire western shore of Lake Garda.
So this is astounding. I knew it was going to be beautiful and it was worth a early morning wake up. We have the whole place to ourselves. The sun has come up over the mountains here and we are going to be driving up the side of the lake today. This is absolutely gorgeous and relatively low effort to get to. And the reason I say that is because usually to get a view like this, you're having to hike multiple miles, and that wasn't the case. But I would say this is pretty epic.
We are now making our way up north around the lake. We've got about 45 minutes until our next stop. We've just gotten to the portion of the road where we are starting to get glimpses of the lake. It is absolutely gorgeous, of course, but where we're heading now is an epic, epic drive, considered probably one of the most beautiful and amazing roads in all of Italy. So let's go.
The Strada della Forra is a narrow, winding road that runs 5.5 miles up the mountainside and through a limestone gorge that was carved over thousands of years by the Brazza River.
Before it was built, the only way to reach the village of Tremosane on the plateau above it was on foot. Construction began in 1908 and took 5 years, opening in 1913, which feels remarkably fast once you see what they were working with. And it's often called one of the most beautiful roads in all of Italy, and Winston Churchill even labeled it the 8th wonder of the world. I don't know about you guys, but that is some pretty high praise. The cliffs rise straight up on both sides, and in some sections, it's barely wide enough for one car. One thing to know before you go, in the high season, the road is supposed to at least run one way from south to north. Luckily, the way we are going already today, so if you're doing this as an out and back, you drive up through the gorge and then find a different route back down.
We made it to the town that the whole road was connected for. The drive was absolutely awesome. So awesome. And I want to show you guys this valley. So the town's also behind me here, but check this out.
This is only the first chapter of our Lake Garda road trip, and the next leg of the trip is going to be just as awesome and maybe even a little bit more dramatic. From here, we'll continue our journey north to Riva del Garda, spend time in the northern end of the lake to explore the town, the surrounding mountains, and yes, of course, more wine regions around the lake as we continue our road trip around Lago di Garda. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss that video. Thank you as always for watching. Cheers, y'all.